For you, and particularly Nelson Mandela, this country has been the touchstone, the linchpin for you in your AIDS work. Everybody knows who Nelson Mandela is. Very few people in the world have actually met him. You've met the man himself. What is it about him that continues to inspire people to work on AIDS, but also to be better people themselves?
Nelson Mandela is a human being. He's a man of tremendous statesmanhood and authority, but ostensibly he had the sort of moral imperative and a tremendous skill in coming through what could have been a terrible, destructive civil war in his country. Through the peace and reconciliation effort, they were able to avert that. And so apartheid was finished. And this was a collective effort. This was not only Mandela and his leadership. The sacrifice that he made with his comrades in the ANC. 27 years he spent incarcerated, and it's very likely that he could have been eliminated, as it were. We might not have, it wasn't guaranteed that Mandela wouldn't be executed at certain points in his life. But in any case, he represents hope over hopelessness, hope over despair. And as a human being, and as this person of authority, you've moral authority, ethical authority, he's like a living proof.
Well, you touched on that word. It's a very, very short word made up of 4 letters, but so packed with meaning. When you think of the word hope, what is the hope of Africa?
Well, there can be tremendous hope, always. And life is so interesting. You know, when I was a teenager, we would never have thought apartheid would ever have been eradicated. You know, this was a system that was deeply entrenched, and you know, the people that were fighting it had no real resources. It was just, you know, what they could do. It was so oppressive. And to actually witness that transformation in that country, and then following on shortly after that, the Berlin Wall coming down. These were massive, massive symbols of oppressive regimes and authority. And when they came away, we felt that the world had been liberated, that human rights and good values would be established, that the order of the world would somehow become more kind.
If apartheid could disappear in South Africa, what is possible then for AIDS?
Exactly, exactly. And that was the sort of metaphor that in my journey of, I mean, I never would have dreamed, James, that I would ever meet Mandela. It's significant for me in the sense that music was my platform, and it, through an invitation, I mean, somehow I was one of the many people that have had a chance to meet him. But the personal encounter was so inspiring for me, just meeting the man himself and realizing that he is a human being just like everybody else, and that we're all basically just the same. We're just human beings with tremendous potential or not. And education, you know, this is the key, especially for women and girls who are living in places where they can't access it. This is the liberative key. It's not rocket science.
But is education enough? Is it simply about information and awareness? Does that really take you all the way to stopping new infections, to stopping these AIDS-related deaths that we're still seeing?
It's one of the factors that can contribute to a complex problem. When you're looking at countries where people are decimated with poverty, decimated with lack of resources, decimated by lack of food, medical care, opportunities, basic resources, clean running water, these things, then they have many, many challenges to overcome. And education is for the mind, and of course it's personally transforming, and that can help us, but we really have to look towards a holistic global world where what is good for one is good for everyone.
Annie Lennox, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about your performance Saturday night at the Kennedy Center.
I started the Sing campaign because my experiences of witnessing the play out of the HIV/AIDS pandemic had affected me so much, and I really felt that not enough people were understanding it, not enough people were aware of it, and I just found that so unacceptable.